Good afternoon, Year 5. I hope you are well and you're having a great start or this morning or a great afternoon. Today we are going to be creating an image like this, so a cityscape. We're going to be drawing the buildings and then finally the road and people. Okay, so let's get started. Today you're going to need either some white paper, and you can either use colouring pencils, or if you have some watercolours, and if you have watercolours then perhaps some water and some paintbrushes or a water brush, and you'll also need a black pen like this if you have one. Okay. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create our buildings by drawing just blocks of colour. And we're going to use 3 colours. We're going to use orange, we'll choose red and purple. Okay, so they don't have to be very precise. I'm going to start with this one. And then I'm going to move on to purple, I think, and I'm going to have it a little taller. Now the buildings or the squares or the rectangles that you draw, they should almost be touching each other, not quite touching each other, almost. Okay, now I'm drawing this very, very quickly. I'm sure that you'll do yours far more carefully. So this one's a slightly higher building, and then we have, let me see, this one. So again, almost touching. Shade it in very quickly. Okay, so if you are using colour pencils, it should look like this. If you're using water pencils, let me see, you can either use one of these water brushes. So you squeeze it a little bit and then you can paint with it. Hold on 1 second. Water. Go. Okay, like this. Or you might have a brush, so you can use a brush like this and blend it. Or if you actually have watercolour paints, I'm just going to prepare my piece of paper first. Here we go. I'm going to take a little bit of orange and apply the paint. Okay, so whichever one you use, you're welcome to use any. If you have watercolours, that's fantastic. If you have paint, you can use that. If you have colour pencils, then please use those. Okay. So you should have something that looks like this. Now the next thing that we are going to do is to colour the sky in the background, and we're going to use a light blue, and it's really important that the sky is light blue for a good reason. So shade all of the sky in the background like this. Okay, a couple of things underneath my piece of paper. Right, now what you're going to do is add dark blue shapes on the skyline. Now you're going to make sure that they are rectangular like this, or maybe a little low-lying like this. And then maybe one going across like this. I know you're wondering, I wonder where that could be. Why is she doing that? Now, this is why. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use our black felt tip. So I'm going to draw around the outlines of the building. So I'm going to actually take one that I have prepared earlier here, and I'm just going to go around the outside of those blocks of colours that you drew first, like this. Okay, so around all of the buildings, very quickly, just a black outline, which should help it pop. And then I'd like you to draw in roofs for them. So we might have one here like this, and like that. Let's just shade that one in. Maybe this one. Something coming up here, and dome like this. Okay, maybe this has coming out at the top. Let's see, this one might have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're just drawing in the roofs of these buildings, okay, with your black pen. Again, I'm giving these ones an outline. So I'm going to give them a quick outline. This one might be quite plain, like this. And last one. Okay. Great. 1, 2. Okay, so now we have the roofs of all of our buildings. The next thing that we're going to draw are the windows and the doors of the buildings. So some of them may have an awning, which means a bit of a shelter, top shelter part, and perhaps some windows, some shop windows. So let's get cracking with that. Let me see, I'm going to draw a door here first. Go. And then maybe a few more. Large window here, another one here, and then 2 at the top. Let me see with this one. I'm going to give it a little bit of an awning underneath, and then doors, large window, and long windows here. This is quite a tall building. Let's put a few windows here, and let's have a large entrance for this one, shall we? Like this. As I say, it doesn't have to be overly detailed, just a rough outline. Two, 3, 4. Great. And then another one. Yeah. Okay, so it looks a little bit like this. Now, remember those dark shadows that we drew in the blue previously? Well, now we're going to outline those buildings at the back because they are actually buildings. So we're going to make them look like skyscrapers. So you can see I didn't draw them in perfectly, and that's absolutely okay. So, whoop, here we go. All of these buildings and skyscrapers. Now, to give the impression that they are far away, we're going to add lots of rows and dots and lines for the windows. So I'm going to see all the different floors of that building in the distance. Get a little antenna at the top. Let's see. Let's give this one quite a few floors. We're going to give them tiny windows, so dots for windows. And then they sort of gradually dissipate. Here we go. Let's take a look. I'm not going to give any floors to this one. I'm just going to give dots for windows. So that looks like a really tall skyscraper in the distance. Okay. And then again another antenna there. Going to give this one a little roof, and I'll give this one a little roof as well. This time a little antenna there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And more dots for windows. So the windows aren't very big, they're quite small. You can see they're not very detailed. I'm just drawing them into the background, so it makes it look as though they are very far away. Be sure to complete all the houses. I haven't, all the buildings, so we have lots in the background here and at the front also here. Right, now that we've done that, we are going to draw some pavements, and going to draw it like this, which is what pavement. Going to put a little curve there. Okay, and what do we see on the road here? Can you tell me? Yeah, cars. So I'm going to have a one-way road here. I think it'll make it a little bit easier. And again, I'm not really going to draw that much detail, so I'm just going to draw the outline of a car like this. Looks a little bit space agey, doesn't it? Perhaps it's one of those new electric cars. Go. That one looks a bit like an Antita. That's all right. There we go. And I think I have another one here. Okay, that's an estate. Let's have these. Great. Now I'm going to quickly shade those in. So let me see, I'll have a blue. This one I'll have blue. Give this one a bit of a shade of blue, but I'll make it mainly green. Okay, and this one also a bit green. Okay, now the final touches. We're going to draw lots of little people, but we have to make them quite tiny. And they're not really going to look like people, they're just going to look like black shadows, but really quite small, so that it looks like there are many people walking along the pavement. Again, they just kind of look like squiggles with strange legs. Maybe this one I give more obvious. There we go. They're all going shopping on a Saturday. Crowds. So now when you look at it, it looks like it's a busy pavement full of people with some cars driving along. And I hope you enjoyed that. Let me just. I want to show you that. So that final image was completed in pencil. But if you do decide to do it with watercolours, or paint. Don't forget, you can just, let me just zoom in a little bit. You can create the same effect. So here we have the red building, we have the orange, and then we have the purple. Remember, create a roof. And here, and now don't forget, we're going to draw the doors and also any windows. And same here. Yeah. And same here. And then don't forget to outline the background of those skyscrapers, which are going to be a lot smaller. So remember, they're only dots in the background. Those windows are only dots, or very thin floors, so that we get the impression that it is indeed a skyscraper. It's important that when you do this to make sure that your paper is completely dry before you start. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and we look forward to seeing all of your finished work posted onto Seesaw. Have a fantastic afternoon, Year 5. Bye.